When you were a kid, were there ever toys that you wanted so badly, but you never got? I remember when I was 9 or 10 years old, scrolling through eBay on my dad's phone and seeing what I considered to be one of the coolest things I had ever seen in my life. The Lego Spider-Man Doc Ock minifigure. I remember begging and pleading with my parents to let me mow the grass or do chores or something to be able to afford this grail, but unfortunately, it never happened. I was born in the wonderful year of 1999, so Lego dominated my childhood. Playing the video games, watching the movies, building with friends. I remember getting the magazines and catalogs every few months, flipping through the pages, deciding what I was going to save my money for next. It was such a sweet, wholesome time to be a kid. I loved the Star Wars sets, Harry Potter City, Castle Space. So many great themes that Lego had. They had so much variety to offer. But there was a severe lack of sets based on comic book properties. And even worse, there were no Spider-Man sets being produced, which to a younger Spider-Man fan was devastating. At least, it was, until Lego decided to change the course of their company. Forever. Today, I want to take a look at the Lego Spider-Man sets based on the trilogy by Sam Raimi, and discuss how they changed Lego into the company we know them as today.
It's a dinosaur action flick. Dino Cop, Scene 3.
In the year 2000, Lego came out with a line of sets called Lego Studios, a theme aimed at kids who wanted to make stop-motion videos and recreate scenes from their favorite movies. This definitely struck a chord with me. I mean, look at these old videos I used to make. I used to just play with my figures and then eventually get into stop-motion. I would have loved to have had sets that really encouraged stop-motion. The key to the studio's lineup was the camera. Set 1349 came packaged with an actual camera made for stop motion and came bundled with editing software so you could make your own movies on your computer. The camera was pretty basic. It was just a webcam shoved into a camera shell, and then the editing software here was pretty rough and basic looking, but it's still pretty cool. Lego reached out to Steven Spielberg with the idea, director of classics like Jurassic Park, Jaws, E.T., and he liked the idea so much he actually lent his likeness to the company and gave actual input on the sets. Thus, the Steven Spielberg Movie Maker set was born. The set also came with a road that could split apart to show fire and destruction underneath, and a model of a giant T-Rex foot to cause the damage, and of course, the iconic Lego T-Rex. No, not that T-Rex, that T-Rex. I love that Lego nurtured the idea of making films with their products. I bet it really inspired a lot of animators growing up at that time. The idea of packing in a large brick-built T-Rex foot to show how studios could use larger props to show scale in their films is so creative and such a cool idea. I really wish Lego did more stuff like this. The set itself is fine, but I love that it includes a Steven Spielberg director figure and a cameraman and other lighting and filming equipment. It adds some real life to the set and is just the coolest idea. They also sold other minifigures and accessories separately. The Spielberg figure is actually one of the few figs from this line that I actually do have. The likeness isn't too bad either. Studios made a ton of other sets, including a Jurassic Park 3 set, Adventure set, and some horror sets like Werewolf Ambush, Vampire's Crypt, and Scary Laboratory. But Studios is not really remembered for these sets, no. The best addition to the studio lineup, in my opinion, the reason you are watching this video, was the introduction of the 2002 Spider-Man film Raimi sets.
Whatever it is, somebody has to stop it.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Spider-Man came out in 2002 and took the world by storm. People had never seen anything like it, and for the first time in years, a comic book film came out that really treated the character with respect and also gave it the budget it deserved to do the comic books justice. You can actually watch theater footage of crowds at the end of the first film just being so thrilled and awestruck by what they just saw and like cheering and clapping. It's so cool. The film had memorable performances, an iconic score, and some really advanced visuals. And the man behind the film is the legendary Sam Raimi, a visionary who started in horror and brought his talent to Sony for the Spider-Man trilogy. I think a huge reason the film and its sequels are so successful was the amount of effort that Sony put into the marketing. This little logo right here is burned into my mind because I grew up seeing it on everything. Books, shirts, toys, bags, food, literally anything you could think of had Spider-Man branding at some point. I remember walking into a Toys R Us and seeing these massive cutouts and displays filled with Spider-Man toys. It's such a shame kids these days don't really get those same experiences. One of my earliest memories is getting a plush Spider-Man from this movie, and my first ever superposable action figure was from Spider-Man 2, and I still love it and have it to this day. If you were alive during this time, you have to remember the silly string web shooters. I mean, what kid wasn't dying to have a set of these? So many iconic pieces of merch. I mean, the Pop-Tarts they came out with, the Toy Biz figures, and a ton of random products you wouldn't really guess would get Spider-Man merchandise. I mean, just look at this packaging. I'm very nostalgic for this look. It's a visual style that's completely unique to this first film. Lots of dark shadows and glossy texture and this moody blue lighting. And Spidey was popping off in other mediums at the same time as well. He had a new animated series that was about to go on the air at MTV, as well as a brand new comic reboot for the character that ended up being one of the best runs on the character of all time. If you were a Spider-Man fan, you were eating good. Okay, I'm getting a bit sidetracked. We're here to talk about LEGO Spider-Man. I just think these pieces of information are important to set the stage for where the average consumer's understanding was with Spider-Man at this time. LEGO acquired the Spider-Man license in 2002, 2 years into the studio theme's life, which itself ended in 2003. And these Spider-Man studio sets became LEGO's first ever venture into superhero sets and would definitely not be their last. The first set they released for the 2002 film was the 1374 Green Goblin set. First thing I have to mention is how stellar this Green Goblin minifigure is. This is another one that I actually have, and he was so essential to my childhood.
I gave you a choice. You deserted me, Peter.
The sculpt on the helmet seems pretty intricate for this time in LEGO's history, and the detailing on the body is pretty much perfect. If he had arm printing, he basically could have come out like this today. Also, there's some light blue detailing on the body that looks really awesome. Only one problem, however, is the face print. And I'm pretty sure this was pulled from like a LEGO City set or something. This face looks super generic and doesn't even try to look like Willem Dafoe. Also, why is he smiling? Bro looks like a normal guy, not a psychopath who's sticking his fingers in Thanksgiving casserole.
Norman?
The printing is nice, and the print on the back looks really good. The mask would have been absolutely perfect, but for the version at least that I have, and from this set, they did not paint his eyes. They didn't even try. There are two versions of this minifig, with painted eyes and unpainted eyes, and even the painted ones don't look great. Overall, a really nice minifig that was way ahead of its time. The same cannot be said for the Mary Jane they included, as her design is just kind of plain and doesn't look a lot like her movie counterpart. That being said, the Toy Biz didn't do a great job either, so anyway, she uses a basic hairpiece in orange, but I like that they extend the detail down onto her face print as well. It also calls into question, what scene is this set trying to create? I know the obvious answer is the rooftop scene from the first movie, but there are next to no builds in this set to indicate that. The only thing that would make you think that is the Green Goblin and her outfit inclusion. Like, why is she grabbing onto a standing lantern? And the Goblin Glider is fine, I like that it's bigger, and I like that he uses a transparent minifig head as a pumpkin bomb. It's not super accurate, but I think it looks neat. Also, something you'll notice in these older sets is that since they are a part of the studio's theme, you'll see backdrops and other equipment, as the events depicted in the LEGO box aren't actually happening in universe, they are just films in the LEGO universe, but later on they ditch this idea, but still use the similar molds. It's confusing, just roll with it. With the next official set being released, we finally have him, the first ever official LEGO Spider-Man minifigure. This is the last of the figures I'll be covering today that I actually have, and he is wonderful. I grew up loving this guy. The Spidey is the perfect balance of accuracy to the source material while still feeling like LEGO, you know, at least for 2002. The eye shape and color matches the 2002 films, as does the spider symbol on his chest. For these early sets, the blue on his suit is a very bright and vibrant blue, which isn't my favorite version, but it still does look nice. I love this minifig so much. He has so much charm to him. Highly recommend picking one up. But just one minifig in this set? Oh no. You also get a civilian Peter Parker minifig that looks nothing like Tobey Maguire. Okay. I'm gonna stop saying that. It was 2002. We know LEGO wasn't as advanced back then, and we've also seen what happens when they try too hard to make these minifigs look realistic. Ugh. That all being said, the glasses face doesn't look too bad, and it's actually double-sided, which if you turn it around shows a face without glasses, which is pretty cool. It's always nice to have options. This set also features that bomb Steven Spielberg figure, which people say is supposed to be a stand-in for Sam Raimi in this set, but it looks nothing like him. Anyway, it comes with a policeman and a pilot minifig, which look fine, I guess. It's pretty standard stuff, at least for this time. These three sets were all included in the Spider-Man Action Pack, which released at the tail end of 2022 and was the last set of that year for Spidey. Now, if you're a good listener, you may notice a discrepancy. I just said 3 sets, but I've only covered 2 so far. That is because the second set that was supposed to be released never was. The 1375 wrestling scene set. The rumor is that it was canceled right before release due to licensing issues, so sadly, we never got this set, it never came out. What was actually also included in the action pack was this larger building build that is definitely supposed to be the balcony scene we discussed earlier. Here you can see that parts from the previous 2 sets are incorporated here together. This package is a pretty cool concept that I wish LEGO would try more of, combining old sets but also including new pieces. I think that's pretty sweet. And with these sets being released, the 2002 wave came to a close. It picked right back up in 2003 with 3 sets: 4850 Spider-Man's First Chase, 4851 The Origins, and 4852 The Final Showdown. As you can see in this first set, LEGO finally got to use the wrestling Spidey figure they made, and he looks alright. Not much to say other than the torso looks nice, I guess. It's a nice print. It also comes with a basic policeman and a criminal, which look to be representing the criminal Peter chases down in the first movie. The set is just kind of ugly looking in my opinion. The cop car looks alright, but the tan car looks just kind of blah. Also, why is there a neon orange spider being chased by a cat included in this? Someone send these back to LEGO Harry Potter where they belong. Also, something I have to touch on briefly is the box art. This bright blue stripe is so lame and very plain looking, but it's something that LEGO was putting all over their sets around this era. Also, this render of Spidey in the bottom left looks whack. His arms would definitely be broken trying to hit this pose. I'm not really a big fan of this set. The next set, however, I am a fan of. I can't think of another example where LEGO included set pieces from 2 different sets in one box, not even really related to each other, just kind of happening at the same time. Here, the neon Harry Potter spiders returned, but at least it makes sense since this is the Oscorp scene where Peter gets bitten by the spider. The Mary Jane and Peter minifigs are just fine. I really like the screen with a variety of different Spidey shapes on it. And down below is the Green Goblin, getting pumped full of steroids and Goblin Serum, and this is where we see the updated Goblin mask. Again, wish he didn't have this goofy smirking face on. It does not fit the character, at least in this time of the movie at all. And apparently this set comes with a shirtless Norman figure with an army buzz cut and a torso with literally 0 detailing on it. We have come a long way. It also includes this random scientist who gets choked out, and he's fine, I guess. The build is decent. This middle part can spin around and turn shirtless Defoe into the Green Goblin, which is a pretty cool play function. It's like a worse Darth Vader transformation. The last set based on the first film is probably the best. The scale of this tops any of the other sets we've seen so far. Here we have a working cable car, a taxi cab, and a pretty nice bridge where you can recreate the scene in the first film with Mary Jane, or if you have a Gwen Stacy figure, you can recreate other things. This Green Goblin is the painted one and comes with a new glider. What is this? Why is it so small? I looked up some mocks people have made, and these are such better designs. It is insane. If you have a Goblin, you should definitely look into making these. Again, the Mary Jane included here is mid, and the Spidey here is the same one as previous sets, so unless you have to have the bridge, this set does not really feel like a worthwhile purchase in 2024. During LEGO Spider-Man's initial 2002 to 2003 run, it started in studio and ended its run as a full-fledged solo LEGO theme, paving the way for themes like Batman and Indiana Jones to come in the following years. With the movie being a mega hit and spawning so much successful merch, that must be the end of the video, right? Wrong! In 2004, Spider-Man 2 came out, the sequel, and an absolute masterpiece of a film. This film is not just the greatest live-action Spider-Man film, but also one of the greatest comic book films ever made. Whew, sorry. Just like its predecessor, this film brought its A-game with the merchandise, creating some super memorable action figures, posters, games, and of course, LEGO sets. Unlike its predecessor, however, this did not start out as a sub-theme in an existing LEGO theme. This film got a proper full wave of sets, 5 to be exact, and these are mostly better than the previous film sets in almost every way. 4853's Spider-Man Street Chase brings about multiple changes. First and foremost, the skin tone of the minifigs has been updated to reflect realistic skin tones. The most exciting change, however, has to be the Spider-Man minifig. And from what I can see, the prints are the exact same, but the blue color has been changed to a darker, more muted tone, and I think that fits the figure so much better. I sadly don't have this one in my collection, but one day he will make a fine addition. The set itself really harkens back to the Spider-Man's First Chase set, as it's kind of boring, and it's just Spider-Man swinging after some thugs. However, I'm really glad the bad guys have jewels that they're stealing, and the street sign is so sick. The toy photographer in me needs one like that. The figures and props feel like improvements over the first Chase, while the first set having 2 cars is much cooler to me than just a skateboard and motorcycle. Set 4854, Doc Ock's Bank Robbery, is the first introduction of the legendary Doc Ock minifig, and he is glorious. The choice for a sand green for his clothes is odd but nice, and the builds for his arms are so cool. I remember getting the comic book Doc Ock in the mid-2010s and just loving that figure. I shot so many photos of it. But back to the set. The builds are alright. I really like the printed vault piece, and the actual bank build is decent for what it is. Nice to get a cop car in these, but these random street crime sets kind of just start to blend together in your head. There's a criminal doing something bad on an imaginary street, so you get the same Spidey minifig swinging in to stop them, and also there's a cop car there. I don't know, it just feels a little bit samey after a while. I love that we finally get our first Aunt May in LEGO form here. It sucks she's using the same hair mold as MJ, but it's nice to have her. Also, what is going on with this box render for the security guard? I am beyond glad we got some diverse civilian minifigs in this line. It is way past time. But what happened here, and why does he look like that? Like, the actual minifig looks nice, but this box's render looks like they just literally recolored the minifig in post. Also, I am so tired of this glasses-wearing cop head. He's so lame looking. And also, why does this render look like he has yellow skin like the old sets? We can see that he has flesh-colored skin out of the box, so why does he look like that on the box? The next set is probably my favorite from both waves, the 4855 Spider-Man's Train Rescue set. First off, the build for this train car is nice, like really nice, and it allows you to recreate probably the best scene from the film, the train fight scene leading into Spidey stopping the train. I love when themes like Spider-Man or Star Wars do little vignettes like this and actually do it justice. It's like a mini diorama set. We don't need to waste pieces on a little piece of building or extra vehicles or play function. We have the main figures and the train, and that is enough. I guess you could make the case that the end part with the spiders in the web is unnecessary, and you might be right, but at least it kind of represents Peter stopping the train with his webs, so it's okay for me. The Doc Ock and Spidey minifigs are the same as previous sets, and you get 2 other figures included. I think it's sick that we get a named character like J. Jonah Jameson in here, but I think it might have been a little bit cooler if we got some regular civilian minifigures to sit inside the train car. That way you can recreate the scene where they're lifting up Spidey, doing all that stuff, you know what I'm talking about. Still nice that we got him as a minifigure though. Lastly, we have the conductor. Do you notice anything familiar?
It looks very, similar.
You can't fool me, Lego. I'm not new to this. This guy is literal Peter Parker's head recolored. It's not that it's being reused in a different line or something. They literally reused the face of the main character from last year on a train conductor. Overall, I actually really like this set. It's definitely a grail for sure. The second to last set is the famous 4856 Doc Ock's Hideout. This set is the biggest single set of the entire line by piece count at 486 pieces, which saying it out loud does not feel like that much. I actually really like this set. The box art is super nice. The sunset in the background really sets the mood well for the scene that it's recreating, as it's an exciting set piece while ending on a pretty somber note. The Spidey and Doc Ock minifigs are the same again. It's a shame we couldn't get different versions of these guys, or a battle-damaged Spidey or something. The Mary Jane is a new torso print and looks okay. It looks like she's reusing the Lego Harry Potter Hermione hair. We also get a Harry Osborn with the same face print as Norman. Lastly, we get a really nice Peter Parker in his blue vest, which I think is the best Peter Parker look from this whole line. Just super solid. The actual build is pretty cool, and comes packaged with a blue base plate, which is awesome. And the dock is simple but nice, and the building looks pretty huge. I love the play functionality of being able to pull apart the walls of Spidey's webs. The fusion reactor is pretty cool looking, and the overall aesthetic of the build is really pleasant. Only issue is this ugly speedboat. Why was this included in this set? And why is Harry Osborn here? He wasn't even in this scene. This set is a nice package and includes some cool stuff. Rare that you get an actual diorama in a superhero set, especially from this time. Lastly, we have the 4857 Doc Ock's Fusion Lab. This set came with 4 minifigs, and 3 of them are unique to this set. Finally, we get a nice variant of the Doc Ock minifig, this time recreating when his fusion reactor blows up in his face. The build is actually decent as it comes with a small brick building front, an ambulance, and a spot for the fusion reactor. I really like that the reactor uses recolored Star Wars battle droid torsos and arm pieces. It's cool to see such iconic pieces in these bright colors. The character selection is fine, getting a Harry Osborn in a new gray suit, a paramedic, and of course, the standard Spidey minifigure. They included most of the essential characters from this scene this set is based on, so that's nice. I wish they included Doc Ock's wife, but I get why they didn't. Overall, not a bad set. I like the variety that's included. It comes with a decent play function, but the build is a little basic looking. And that's it. That was every Spider-Man set released for the 2000s films. We also get another combo pack, which actually came out the following year in 2005, and I can't help but imagine some kid getting this combo pack and then ending up with like 5 or so matching Spider-Man figures, multiple identical Doc Ock figures, and some mid-Harry Osborns and Mary Janes. LEGO also made 2 of these juniorized sets based on the films, but I mean, look at these. You can see why they didn't make any more of them. Ugh. And so that was it. LEGO lost the license to Spider-Man after this set. After the original run of Spidey sets, LEGO started acquiring more licenses. I mentioned it earlier, but lines like Indiana Jones and the incredibly popular Batman line, Marvel and DC superheroes, all of these lines had the door open for them by Spider-Man. Without this line, they would not exist. But while fans were being treated to other licensed themes in the 2000s, fans of Bricks and Spidey were subject to a different company making sets of their favorite character. I'll make this super quick. Basically, Mega Bloks, a LEGO competitor, started making sets for Sam Raimi's third entry into the series, Spider-Man 3, to varying results. Objectively, these are much worse sets in general. The plastic quality was cheaper, the minifigs were uglier, and the builds were less sturdy and used bigger parts. I will say though, I actually had a few of these sets as a kid and surprisingly kinda liked them. This Venom mech thing was decent to 8-year-old me, and I have vague memories of playing with this building carrying case set at my cousin's house. The real showstopper, however, was the Sandman's bank heist set. It actually came with a battle-damaged Spidey, which was nice, and a bank front, as well as this car that could break apart and let all the money fall out, and I must say, as a kid, these printed money tiles were the coolest things ever. Compared to LEGO, they actually looked like real money to some extent. But who am I kidding? Even though I have solid memories of these as a kid, they don't really hold up today. But with that, I think we need to address the bigger question. Do LEGO's sets hold up well today? I think the biggest thing LEGO has going for it in this era is just the charm of the sets. They included little fun details that showed they really cared about the product they were putting out, and the minifigs were decently accurate to the source material, while still meshing with the LEGO brand as a whole. LEGO products just have this undeniable appeal to them. Basically, they have the secret sauce. But I can't say that all of these sets are great, especially compared to what we have in 2024. LEGO has come so far with minifig design and printing. Look at these recent Marvel figures. Their evolution is crazy drastic. I bet we would all love to see what LEGO could do with the Spider-Man license in 2024. And thankfully, we don't have to imagine it. It happened. After the Spider-Man drought of 2004 to 2012, LEGO started the LEGO Marvel Superheroes line, and we started getting sets based on the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. In 2014, San Diego Comic-Con attendees got the chance to get a Spider-Man based on the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, and in 2017, we got a couple sets based on Spider-Man Homecoming. A few sets came after, based on Far From Home and No Way Home, which looked pretty good. I really like the look of this Tom Holland minifig. But the biggest and final set made for No Way Home, the most recent live-action Spider-Man film to this day, is 76261 Spider-Man Final Battle, which after 20 years gave us our first ever updated Tobey Maguire Spider-Man figure. This minifig is a worthy successor to the 2004 Spidey and has such a clean design. I really need to pick this set up. It also includes the first widely available Andrew Garfield. It's crazy to see how far LEGO has come with their minifigure design because these guys look incredible, especially compared to what we've been looking at for this video. That being said, still love the Raimi design and still love those original sets. LEGO as a company is more successful than they've ever been, and they are putting out more superhero sets than they ever have. But part of me misses when things were simpler, when there were fewer sets but they felt more special. I wonder if this generation of kids is going to grow up with the love and nostalgia for these current sets that my generation has for the Raimi stuff. Only time will tell. Spider-Man was LEGO's first attempt at superhero sets. It changed the game for them. And what a perfect character to be their first. LEGO Spider-Man made a huge impact on 2000s kids' lives. And who knows where LEGO would be today without them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Ha! Spider-Man! What's cracking, baby? Woo! Hey! Where you going, Spider-Man? Woo-hoo!